Bleeding Blue Podcast, episode 25, another episode of this week. We just had the J series. We had a Leafs W. We got some good things. We got some bad things. We got a discussion of another segment of what doesn't make sense. Lots and lots to get into. But let's start it off. Ryan, you went to the Jays game. Before we start anything off, you went to a Jays game. It sucked. How was it? New experience, new they've got new renovations. How was it?
hmm
You have a fun time?
yeah, it was good. Yeah, I was volunteering. My dad teaches intermediate in elementary school, and they
Oh,
had like a class trip. So I was just like coming along, like volunteering, and they did like a Toronto trip. So we went around like Kensington Market and went to St. Lawrence Market. Then we went to the aquarium, which is probably this isn't my doesn't make sense, which we'll get to later, but probably the worst place of all time is Ripley's Aquarium, right beside. Oh my God.
I've heard so many things
I
about it.
walked through it in 10 minutes. And then we just sat there. We were supposed to be there for about an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah, and we sat I walked through it in 10, 15 minutes and I just sat there the rest of the time.
Really?
It was horrible.
I've never been there. I did not realize that. I
Oh, you don't want to go. Unless you're a big fish guy or you like your
No, I'm not.
aquatic animals,
When
then
in
yeah.
I mean, I guess fucking what do you call marine biologists? They're probably big fish people, but not me. No, that's for sure.
No, it was brutal. It's literally an animal prison. And I don't like I went to Marine Land when I was younger. I haven't been back since.
No,
And
really.
obviously they have that place has their problems. And I've only been to the Toronto Zoo a handful of times, and it's just
Yeah.
not a fun place to go for me at least. But
No, no, no.
yeah, I did not have a fun time at the aquarium, and then we went to the Jays game and it was good. It was a good experience. I was in the 500, so it's not like I was sitting in the new part of the stadium, but it was good. Jays game, but the end result wasn't the best.
No.
Like always when I go to a Jays game, but it was good. It's a good time.
No, because it's the thing about going to baseball games and any sort of sports events is like you're going there, you should just try to embrace the whole atmosphere because there's a 50% chance most of the time that they're going to lose. They're either going to win or lose. And so if you're there, obviously if you're a diehard Jays fan, it sucks going to a game and then them end up losing. Like I was at the game where they blew a lead in the ninth and that was just torture. Just like the stadium, everyone
hmm
around you is just dying. And I'm sure for you, it was like after like three runs, the first three runs by given up by Bassett, it
hmm
turned into just a
Yeah,
quiet.
I was at the ultimate torture. I was at the game two between the Jays and the Mariners in that wild card series a couple years ago,
Oh,
and we were playing great. We were up 8-1. I don't want to give you flashbacks, but we were up 8-1, and then all of a sudden it just goes to shit.
yeah.
And I remember when Bichette and Springer hit each other, and they tie. It was either a tie game or they were winning, and the place was just dead silent. Like you couldn't hear anything in that place. It was crazy. I think I just had bad luck for any sports. I've been to a couple winning games for the Bills, and that's about it.
That's gonna be fun though.
Everything else has been shit.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway,
I think I'm just gonna save my money
let's
and
move on.
not go to any.
Let's move on to something that where we have a little bit more winning.
Mhm.
Man, our Leafs, as I said, predicted Mickey Mouse little fucking win overtime, but it was electric to say the least. That was exciting. It was also nice to see Jesse Pollock fucking flip his shit out on Instagram because Leafs
Yeah,
won and then Jets lost. Sadly, I want the Jets to win, but I don't want Jesse Pollock to win. So uh,
yeah.
anyway,
No, it's great because he talks all that shit about his team being better than the Leafs, and they get fucking demolished
yeah,
in 5 games against Colorado. And then we're still in the playoffs, but he still loves to talk shit. Like
yeah,
I don't understand the guy. He's definitely a Leaf fan. He's a closet Leaf fan. Like everyone says he's a Leaf fan.
yeah.
He definitely has that in his heart. But
Well, he goes to
yeah,
Jurassic Park and he like the outdoor area outside of
hmm
He does all that. He's always there. He's always at Leafs
Well, he
game.
works for TSN, so he has to. Like that's his job, right?
Yeah.
It's him to get content for the social media team. But yeah, I said this last podcast. I didn't want them to win. I literally did not want the Leafs to win. I wanted this to be over in 5 because I want Keefe out. I don't want him coaching the team anymore. Maybe even Shanahan, the president of the team. I don't want him coaching either. Like, not coaching, like being running this team. I want them out. And literally after they scored the overtime goal, I wasn't even celebrating. I was sitting with my dad. He gave me a high five, and so he's like, "Yeah, let's go." And I'm literally just sitting there like this. I literally said, "Fuck off!" Like I literally didn't want them to win. Like that's how pissed off I was. I wanted them. I wanted them to lose.
Wanted them to win. Is it just after like is for you? Is it just after like the game 5 or no? Was it game 5 or game 4 where you were like, I can't take this anymore? Like, was that what
Yeah,
the mark?
I just wanted it to end. I've sat through this so many times. Like I don't need more. I don't want to watch more playoffs. I want it to end.
What if they win the
Like
Stanley?
well, that's not going to happen. That's not they're probably not going to win tonight at home because we suck at home.
You're right. We
But
did, but
but if they somehow win tonight and they play on Saturday for game 7, then maybe I'll cheer a little bit. But I want this shit to end, dude. I don't want like this has happened too many times against Boston, too many times in the playoffs in general. Like I don't want this to keep going. Like I want
we have
this to
seen
end.
this before. We have seen this. We get a little extra hope, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, they just won. Game 6, they win game 6, sure, but you know what? We'll see what happens. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens because yeah, like I don't know. Let's talk about game 6 though, or game 5 though. What
Mhm.
like you
I thought they played very well. I thought they played great hockey, even with despite Matthews not being in the lineup. I think they played great. The first period, they were all over them. I think
yeah,
shots were 12-2 or something. They were all over them. And I was like, wow, I did not expect this. I expected them to be there for them to have a little pushback because do or die. Like if you lose, you're out because they're not just gonna fucking fall on the floor, right?
yeah.
And give them the win. They're gonna at least try. But I think they stood on their heads. The third period was a little, Boston was trying to figure they. I think they finally figured them out, Boston, and then I think we survived that third period because it looked like they were going to score, and then the overtime definitely helped the Leafs out more than Boston because the shots were definitely in favor of them in third. They had it was I think it was like 11-4 or something. The shots in the third, that Boston was looking to score after it was tied. Um, but I thought I was happy with the performance, even though despite the fact that I wanted them to lose, I thought they played good
And
without
Joseph,
Matthews.
give it up.
Yes, yeah. I forgot to mention him. He played amazing.
Some insane game saving. Like he saved the season. Like he literally saved them from being eliminated because of that. I forget who it was, but he made an incredible save in the third period. I think I want to say that was just absolutely electric. Where he's like, they're coming around. He's like blocks it with his left or right pad. It was just
Yeah,
awesome.
that was in the third period. Like I thought we were gonna lose right there.
So did I. Yeah.
And he made some great saves. I think Samsonov is finally going to be on the bench for the next couple of games if it does reach that. But I think Wall will be playing today because just of how good he played. Yeah, on Tuesday. But yeah, props to him, man. He played great. I think because he had no pressure on him because they were down 3-1.
Yeah.
It's not like if they won, they were going to win the series. Like I think he just said play. He was just thinking like just play your best and you have the opportunity to start game 5 and not be on the bench because Samsonov didn't play his best in game 4. So I think he just wanted to maybe other coaches are looking at him for like a starting job because maybe the Leafs are looking for a better goal, like another goalie in the off season. But I think Wall played amazing,
He did.
and that was he stood in his head, dude. Like he played great.
Do that same exact thing tonight. The other thing I like right away, the first thing I'm thinking of is like if you're really thinking of like you can't play the same way you played in game 5. Like there's no way playing
Mm-hmm.
trying the same way where a Jake McCabe is scoring your goal and Matthew Nyes. You need Nylander and Marner. As we've said so many times on this podcast, they need to show the fuck up. Johnny T, he's actually been pretty good. Like he got the assist or like he was solid yesterday's game or Monday's game, whatever day it was. And yeah, so props to him. Um honestly, yeah, big game. Hopefully they can rebound, get the win tonight, make it go to game 7. When it would be game 7?
Saturday. Yeah. Big one.
I'll be working then, so I won't be able to watch.
Oh, that sucks. But yeah,
I'll be working tonight too. I won't be able to watch tonight's game anyway either.
Oh, that sucks, man. Anyways, I think it's this team, man, every single year it happens. They start to fuck up, and then all of a sudden now they start to play good hockey, and they give their fans hope, and that's what I did not want to see on Tuesday, but it fucking happened.
Yeah.
So I think the record I saw for the game coming in, the Leafs are 9-2 against Boston in Game 5, which was, I think, very like I don't think I've seen a Leaf game where Boston won Game 5. So I was thinking, I was majority thinking like the Leafs were going to win.
Yeah.
Because of that stat, and of course they were down 3-1. But now it's a new series, and you never know. But I think Toronto just sucks at home.
Tonight could be a game
Boston
where they fucking blow them out. All of a sudden, it's just like regular Leafs, like a regular season where they just blow them the fuck out. Like it's like 7-3 or something final.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the greatest defense, maybe or like 7-4. You know, get a couple goals, but like all of a sudden everyone's scoring. Everyone's Bobby McMahon. Where the fuck is he? We need him. We need Matthews too. But
yeah, I think it's just the fact that they suck at home, and the Leafs are they're not. I don't know, because Matthews has just been announced that he's not playing today, so that's another factor. Maybe it would have been better if he was playing.
What the hell happened, man? What happened to this guy?
I think they're saying it's an illness, but I think it's something. I think they kind of have it undisclosed.
I've been to clubs. I've been to parties where I've been sick as fuck, got absolutely wasted, and I'd say that's the equivalent. Is like getting absolutely shit-tuned and then skating and playing in playoff hockey when you're sick. It's not that bad. It's not that bad as long as you just get to.
I don't think it's that kind of sick though. I think it's like a virus. Like Keith was saying that it's just getting worse and worse as he gets on the ice. I think that's the problem. Like he skated this morning with McMahon, who's still injured. I don't know what's happening with him. But I guess that's an actual serious injury. I guess that's why it's not as talked about. But yeah, he only skated in the optional practice. He wasn't at morning skate with the starting team, and I don't know. I think it's just because when he's on the ice, he can feel the pain of the illness. I don't know. I think that's the main problem. But I mean, they don't look like, based off last game, it doesn't seem like they need him to win, right?
Maybe we don't.
I think that's what I was thinking about. Like the way that they were playing on Tuesday, it felt like it was the fact that they don't have to rely on him to create offense. I think that was them, saying that without him we can do well. Yeah. And I think the Marner, Bertuzzi, Domi line especially, they were playing amazing. Like I didn't see one shift with them not in the defensive zone. They were just in the offensive zone the whole time, creating offense, and that's what I like to see. Like I feel like whoever plays with Domi, they're gonna have a good chance at playing well.
Hot take, Domi, he had a lot of opportunities. He should have he needs to stop passing the puck so fucking much.
Yeah, I know.
That's all he does. He's on 2-on-1s. He has a clear lane, and he just passes it like a shitty pass
Yeah,
to.
there was one chance. It was either the second or third period, and he was with Bertuzzi on a 2-on-1, and he didn't even look at Swayman at either time. He was looking at Bertuzzi like this, just
Yeah,
stick handling while skating,
I
just
know.
looking at him, waiting
It's
to
like
pass.
obvious.
He
It's
should
so
be
obvious.
looking back and forth to try and fake out the goalie, because if you're just looking at Bertuzzi the whole time, you're he's gonna know what's gonna happen, right?
I know.
So I think he needs to, I think that was kind of what Marner used to do back in the day. Like he just kept, like when he was younger, like he was scared to shoot. And I feel like Domi, hopefully today he can maybe shy away from that and shoot some more pucks on net,
Yeah,
like you said. Another thing I wanted to note was the power play and how fucking garbage it is, because
yeah.
we still haven't scored in the power play since game 2.
It's
We've
yeah.
we're
It's
one
we're
for
two.
17.
Yeah, something like that.
1 for 17, I think we're on the power play.
Yeah,
Just not good enough. Not good enough. We get at least 3 power plays a game, and we don't do anything with them.
yeah,
It's really fucking frustrating. And I've said this every single podcast that we've been on the pod, like we've been on since the playoffs, and nothing's changing. The
yeah,
entrances are shit because Boston keeps pressing the blue line, and you can't even get in. Like you gotta do something different. Like you can't do the pass back. I know they've done that since forever. Like I remember since Matthews was on the Leafs, they've been doing that same entrance
yeah,
type, going into the zone, passing it back, and they have options on the side of the boards to pass it, and they've done it. It's been somewhat effective for the past 6-7 years, but you got to. I think for this team, you got to switch it up. You got to figure out something new to
yeah.
break through the slump, and hopefully maybe we see a change. We probably won't tonight, but I that's just my suggestion, because 1 for 17 is not good enough
No, it's
if
not.
if you
Exactly.
want to take care of advantages
Yeah.
from Boston taking penalties. So,
You know,
uh,
there was
yeah,
a there was a couple more highlights and I wanted to talk about from this game. Specifically, I loved Brad Marchand being tackled by the ref. That
I
was
was laughing,
so,
laughing my ass off.
so funny. And he's like, "Get the fuck off of me! Get the fuck off!"
Yeah,
Oh man, that was hilarious.
and I love how he got the penalty for it too. Like it was
Yeah,
just him and Holmberg just going at it. It was so funny.
that
Like
was
it was a great trade off, because Holmberg's a good player, but he's not on like Marchand's
yeah,
caliber when it
exactly.
comes to the
Yeah,
playoffs. But I'm glad that Holmberg did that, and then just the linesman comes in and just fucking bang,
yeah,
fucking form tackles him to the ground. Yeah, it was so funny. I was laughing my ass off
yeah.
in a game where I didn't really want too much happening, and just that happened. It was just amazing. I was so happy that happened.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see tonight though. Tonight it could be all of a sudden from the get-go, first minute Leafs score, and by the first period we're up like 5-0. We have not like it could go. I think it's either going to go either way. It's not going to be. I don't know. I want to say it's either going to be a like blowout sort of thing with for the Leafs, like it's going to be not a stressful game, or it's going to be the other way around for the Bruins. It's going to be a non-stressful game at all, and it's just going to be fucking boring. Or yeah, you know what? So I don't know. What do you think? What's your prediction?
I think the Leafs get blown out of the water. I think Boston comes in and they're like, they don't want to do what happened. They don't want what happened last year with them being up 3-1 and them blowing the lead and
Hey,
losing game 7. I don't think they want that to happen again. I
could
think they
happen.
come in Toronto and they just blow the water off the team, off the Leafs.
You know
It's
what?
gonna be
They don't
it's
say
gonna be
yeah,
like 5-2 or something. It's gonna be
yeah.
5-2. I think Wall played great yesterday, but I think Boston is just gonna come out hot and score a couple on them early, and then that'll just set the tone for Boston, you know, winning the game. So that's my thoughts. But
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I hope the Leafs do make it interesting, even though I don't want them to win. I hope they do make it somewhat interesting
Yeah.
and keep it close. But I think Boston's just gonna they fucking hated losing to Florida last year in the first round, because they had the best regular season in NHL history, and then they just screw it up. So I think they don't want that shit to happen again, and they're gonna come out hot.
If you take them to overtime too, Bruins suck in overtime. Like they
Yeah.
are terrible this year, like obviously. So you take them in OT this year. We'll see what happens, man. I think that's another thing is like they're terrible and Leafs not the greatest, but not as bad as the Bruins. Not as bad as the Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let's move on to our next topic, our next segment, where we will be doing again for the second time things that don't make sense, where we talk about things in our lives around us that do not make sense. It could be sports related, could be not. And they just don't make sense to us. And hopefully you guys agree or disagree. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Ryan, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Sure. So this was I went to the Jays game, like we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast yesterday, and it was a class, right? It was grade 7 and 8 students. They were going in and out trying to get food and shit and buying stuff. And
Yep.
one of the teachers went and got a drink, and it's like a refillable drink. And it was about, I think it was like the 8th inning or something. And one of the teachers behind us, she's like, "Yeah, you go get another drink," because he didn't get one. He got one early, and he just kept the cup with him because he thought that was it, right? So he went to go get a refill, and he comes back and he said, "No, I didn't get a drink." And he's like, "Yeah, because it closed. The concession stands closed." So I'm just thinking, why the fuck are you closing the concession stands late in the game? I think this goes for any sporting event, like stadium, could be even concerts, even. Concerts, you get like a beer or something or a drink while you're watching. Like I've never understood why stadiums close their concession stands right before the game ends. I it just makes I think it just makes no sense, because even after, some people might want to drink before they leave. They want to get something before they leave, maybe a snack to go home with. And if you leave them open after the game ends, keep it like 30 minutes after it ends, keep it open. And then, because people might want to drink, they might want something before they leave. And that goes for like jersey sales or buying merchandise. Like, I don't know why they close that down. It makes more money for them, right?
Right.
I've never understood. I've never understood it. That's one. Do you
I
have a say on that?
I agree. I agree for the most part. The one part I don't agree is the alcohol. Alcohol, I understand. Cut
Mm,
it off at the 7th inning because you don't want fucking drunk people, like people getting too
mm-hmm,
intoxicated.
mm-hmm.
You don't want people driving home, especially with Toronto. It's a little bit more different. Still, people will drive home, but but there's a lot more transit areas like train and bus and that sort of thing, so you can get as drunk as you want. But other stadiums, like especially like Texas, most of the time, and like LA, most
Mm-hmm.
people are driving. There's huge parking lots. Most people are driving
Right.
to and from the stadium. So I understand that. You don't want people drunk driving. You don't want fucking, it's busy as fuck too. So you don't want drunk drivers because you're 1,000 people, you have 40,000 people. One of them's going to be a fucking drunk driver, and you don't want somebody getting in an accident, obviously. But
Mm-hmm.
with the food and concession stands, I completely agree. Food, I get fucking hungry, man. I'm
Mm-hmm.
something. When I go to a stadium, I'm a sucker, and I fucking end up just buying a shitload of food. I love like popcorn at a stadium. I feel like I can't watch a Leafs game or a Jays game without popcorn or something like that. Same with movies. I can't go to the movies.
Right.
I just can't. Um, and
Same
so
with the movie theater. The movie theater, they have it open.
yeah,
Even a
it's a
even
little
a
bit. I
late
think it's a little bit different, but
even a late viewing, like at 9 o'clock. I remember I went to this 9 o'clock showing. I can't remember what the movie was, but when we went back to the lobby, they still had people behind the counter. And I'm like, and I remember my sister, she wanted to get something, and we went to the car, and she's like, "You think it's still open?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, go back." And she got us a popcorn at like 11 o'clock at night, 11:30.
yeah, they do have
They still
actually.
have it open.
Yeah, well, I feel like isn't it still open at 11? Like, isn't the movie theater still open? Like, and like there's
Well, it depends.
showing
It depends. Like
showing
if it's like a Thursday or Friday, they probably have it open. That's probably why, because they have opening day
yeah,
showings for like big movies, so they probably keep it open till like late.
yeah.
But
I don't get it.
they do it. It's not like it's like the Leaf games or Jays games or concerts. They don't keep that open till after. They don't keep it open after, right?
I can tell
It
you.
makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a great question. It doesn't
It
make
makes more money for them. I don't understand why they wouldn't do it.
because you have a. I think maybe it could be because it would be almost too much. Like it would be like an insane amount of people. Because once people leave, you have this big lineup of people going past the concession
Hmm.
stand. Everyone's leaving the stadium all at once, and all of a sudden, everyone's going walking down the concourse. Oh, look to my left. There's some food I could get. There's a concession stand. Why
Right.
don't I go and get a snack as I'm leaving? Great idea.
Right. That's how the guys outside with the street meat in their little the kiosk take advantage
Yeah.
because they got the hot dogs and the sausages outside, right? Getting ready to go. But the people in the state, I'm not saying that this is they should be doing this because big corporations are, I don't want them to keep getting bigger, but it just doesn't make sense to me how they don't take advantage of this.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the small business, like the guys who are, outside of the stadium with the hot dogs and stuff, they're getting their
Yeah.
money, which is good.
They overprice their fucking shit like crazy, and they only take cash, which is annoying as fuck. But still, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's what I do. I before a Jays game, I always uh get food outside instead of paying for
Yeah.
drinks inside because it's $9 for a fucking bottle of water. Like it's ridiculous when that should be at least like should be $1, not
Yeah.
even. But I always get my stuff outside. But it's just the fact that I'm leaving, or if we leave early and we're walking past the concession stands and they're already closing up. It just it I don't know how they don't take advantage of that, but
Fair
that's
enough.
just something that doesn't make sense to me.
Um,
What's yours?
I would okay, so mine might be a little more dumb on the dumb side of
Okay.
things that don't make sense. Planes, I do not understand how the fuck. Just think about this. You are in this giant tube in the air and you are flying through the sky, flying, literally flying. There's a such thing as gravity, but because for some reason they figured it out, you can go high in the sky and fly over the city. I mean, obviously right now, but if you really think about it hard, like, because it's such a regular thing. Planes are just the most insane things in the world. You can fly. You can literally be in the air forever and fly in this.
This isn't this is just you getting amazed by how planes work.
It
This
doesn't make
isn't
sense.
stuff
It
that
doesn't make any sense. How does this happen? How does like
it's
just
the
air?
engines. It's the
No,
engines, dude. That's how
it's not just engines though. It's not like you can't just like fly and glide perfectly.
aerodynamics.
I know it's aerodynamics and shit. You can get along, get over, you can talk about aerodynamics all you want, but still, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I just like am amazed by the fact that I can travel through from place to place in a plane, and it's just insane. You don't realize how crazy.
Well, you can also say that about boats too. Like
No,
how
no,
does
no.
a structure stay up on water when there's literally a massive ocean like that's super heavy? How does it stay up on it? Like you could say that
Planes,
about boats too.
because you maybe you could, but planes is just crazier because there's like nothing underneath you. There's nothing. You're in the air. There's nothing around you. You should just be falling, it seems like, but for some reason you don't, and you just fly through the air. Obviously, with the plane, the fact that humans have evolved to this and been able to fly commercial airlines is I am just amazed by it. I think it's ridiculous. If we want to, if you don't agree with that, if you don't agree with that statement and think that that's something that does make sense, then I'll say this: things that don't make sense as well. People who are afraid to fly in planes. Now that is, you've got to be the biggest bitch in the world to be afraid to fly in a plane because I mean, obviously, I'm amazed. I'm not scared, but I'm amazed actually. But people who are afraid to fly in planes, dude, you're more in trouble and danger from fucking being in a car, you know? So stop
Yeah,
worrying about planes.
I
You're
think I heard this. I think I saw this stat before. You're more likely to get bitten by a shark than you are to, or get struck by a bolt of lightning than you are to get in a plane crash.
yeah, and
I think
especially
just the fact that yeah, commercial planes, like I think the technology and the autopilot, I think that
dude, they can't be letting
makes the possibility like even
like
less.
hundreds of people die, like because in getting paid to die. Like that's like
I
what
think it's also the fact that like there's a lot of movies about plane crashes that kind of worry people, and
yeah.
also the turbulence that happens throughout flights. Like I've been a part of flights that had turbulence, and it's not like the worst thing in the world. Like you shake a little bit,
I've
but
I've been in
it's
some
just because you're going through a cloud, like a storm or something, like a cloud.
not
Like
even
it's
that.
not that
It'll
bad.
open and it'll be like clear as day and it'll be crazy turbulence. It's
It's because
just
of the wind.
yeah, it's all it
Yeah.
is. It could be just a crazy windy day, but it's still nice out. I
I
remember
haven't been on enough. I haven't been on enough planes to like know what crazy turbulence feels like.
yeah,
I've been on one that's been like mild turbulence, which isn't that bad.
yeah.
But
I was in a million.
I get your point. Like it's very safe to be on a plane, and the people who are flying it are very like they're professionals. Like they've done it their whole lives basically. They've been trained by the best, and
Yeah.
that's their job, so they're obviously not going to fuck up, right? So
I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me how you can be afraid to fly on a plane because you know it's like the safest thing. It's just those are just people who are warriors, and dude, just stop worrying. Like honestly, like
yeah,
same goes for people who are afraid of roller coasters too.
here we go again. No, because roller coasters, I've seen like videos, and
I've seen
you
videos of
can
planes.
talk all the shit you want. I'll never do roller coasters because that's not like no,
Roller
no,
coasters are so much fun too. That they're like the
no,
most fun things in the world. I
no,
don't.
they're not.
Your argument
It's
is ridiculous.
torture. It's torture.
Torture. Oh my god.
It's
Torture
torture.
is fucking walk.
I'll never go on a big roller coaster ever in my life. Never.
Torture is sitting through a Jays game. That's what torture is, and that's what brings us to our next segment. Blue Jays baseball. Man, they absolutely have been shitting the bed. There's no offense. Right now we are in game 195, somebody was saying, of 2023 season. That's what it feels like because it's just the exact same shit. Ross Atkins
I don't
said
know how we have 15 wins.
Ross Atkins said pitching. Ross Atkins said last year at the end of 2023 that he believes this is just a blip. That these players like Kirk and Vladdy and Springer will rebound from their terrible seasons in 2023, and he's wrong. So I agree. Like there's been some good things that Ross Atkins has done. There's been some horrible things. Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes, man, I would be happy as hell to have those guys on this team. Just to think about it, like just think about it, like it'd be insane. And I think what happened to Ross is he saw he saw that crazy game that happened in game two. Don't mean to bring that game up again in game two wild card, where the outfield defense was terrible. We saw George Springer get a horribly late jump. People don't realize that. They think it's Bo's fault. He got a terrible jump on that ball and should have been able to catch it. Like the catch probability was what I heard over 70%. You can look at stats and all and think of that like that entire life. 70%, 70%. That's pretty high. And then you also think I remember Tapia. If you don't remember that, Tapia
Mm.
was in left field and was for some reason Eugenio Suarez, who pulls the ball like crazy, was pushed all the way to the right side of the field and had to run like crazy and miss the ball. That should have been an out. There's things like that that happen in that game that really messed with this team and really and I think that got to Ross Atkins' head. He says You know what needs to happen in 2023? We need to get better outfield defense, and we need to play the small ball game. We need to be a better defensive team, because that was issues at times with Teoscar and Lourdes and certain players in the outfield. We got better defense. We got better outfield defense in George and Kiermaier and Varsho. But at what cost to the bats? If you don't score runs, as I've heard from another podcast, Gay 14, they say this all the time. They say if you don't score runs, you don't win. It's as simple as that. You don't score runs, you don't win. And that's what's happening, is they're not scoring runs. You score 0 runs, you're not going to win a baseball game. It's as simple as that. It's 1 + 1 = 2. It's like that. So that's what's been happening. This is what's going to happen this entire season. You can't, like, you could say they're going to come out of a slump, but I just don't see it happening. We've seen enough of this already. We've been through a month of this horrible offense so far. Kirk's hitting 194. Vladdy's hitting 231. He's been a little bit better. Bo's hitting 205. It's not good. These guys have to play better. They have to play better. And that's the only way you can win. And it's really sucks to watch. It's sad. And that's my thoughts on this team right now in that series.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, like the game I watched, game I went to yesterday, Bassett had a no-hitter through 5 innings.
Yeah.
He was pitching well, but no one could fucking hit for him. And that's the issue with this team. Like the pitching is not the issue. Pitching can be fixed easily, but the problem is the batting. And
he's been awesome.
Vladdy got a hit, which I was expecting him to, shit the bed. And everyone else was just mediocre. I was literally, as soon as I was like, Danny Jansen was hit the home run. And I'm like talking to the teacher buddy beside me. He's like, I was telling him, like, this is the only guy who can produce offense on this team. And then literally after I said that, he hits the homer. I'm like, look what I told you. He's the only fucking person that can produce the offense, because Danny Jansen, if he wasn't injured, we may have won a couple more games, because Kirk just is fucking awful. It's really disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, because I think this is just who like Vladdy is. Bo, I think, is a better hitter than what he's been playing like right now. I think he's slumping. Like he's a much better hitter. He's a career 290 something hitter, 299. He's good. He's good. I think he'll come out of his slump. But let's take a look at some of the team stats right here. And so right now, in hits, all of baseball hits, Blue Jays are 24th out of 30 teams. Home runs.
That makes no sense to me. We should be like 30th. I don't know who's lower than us.
It's pretty shitty teams. It's like White Sox, Pittsburgh, Marlins, Rockies.
Oh yeah, White Sox. Yeah, the White Sox are horrible.
Athletics, 21st in home runs. Not good either. RBIs.
No.
We are 27th in baseball in runs batted in. Strikeouts. Take a look at strikeouts. 24th in the league.
Wow.
Strikeouts.
What, like pitching strikeouts? Like we're giving strikeouts, or we're taking strikeouts?
Actually, that's not actually that bad. We haven't struck out as much as I thought we had. We're 24th we're the like 6th best team for not striking.
Oh, okay. All right.
It still doesn't really matter. I don't care about. Take a look at 19th stolen bases. And then average. Average is ugly. We are hitting 225 as a team, 25th in the league.
Ugh.
Only teams better, St. Louis, or worse, St. Louis, Seattle, Cincinnati, Chicago White Sox, and Oakland Athletics.
And those are some sad teams behind us. Very sad teams.
Walks, we actually have been not terrible. We have 112 walks, so we are the 8th best in the league.
Yeah.
So it's not
good play presence, but just can't hit the ball. Can't put the ball in the right places. And that's what I saw yesterday.
is another atrocity of this team. Just horrible, horrible. It's got to be
There's
done.
been a lot. There's been a lot of 2-out singles. That's one way I can put it. Just a lot of,
No,
taking
it's got
2 outs, and then we get a hit, and then the guy after just can't bring him in.
it's got to be the long ball. The long ball is the key to. You see, the best teams in the league are all teams like Dodgers and the Braves, who hit a shitload of home runs. The Orioles, the Yankees. You got Judge still. He's not been that great, but he's still hitting home runs. Stanton, Soto, even Verdugo, like Volpe. Those they've got it. They've got a good lineup.
Yeah, and they're producing runs. Like the last couple of games, they've been scoring a lot.
Yeah, they scored 15 runs 2 games in a row, but then they actually lost something. I forget. But no, they're a good team. And
Yeah.
bad man. It's
Well, this series coming up could be promising. We play the Nationals, who are notorious for being garbage. The past couple of years, they have won a World Series in the last 5 years, but that doesn't really count because their team, that doesn't really matter because right now, because their team is just absolute garbage. This should be a sweep. Like this should be a sweep. If we lose a game, I'll
I
be
would
very
love a sweep,
disappointed.
man. I would love a sweep. Do I think that's gonna happen?
Because after this we have the Phillies, 2 games against the Phillies, and those we aren't going to win one of those games. We
No.
aren't. So we have to win all these games that are coming up because because we're not going to win against the Phillies. That's not going to happen. So these are must-win games right here against the Nationals.
You're right though, in the sense that again, it is like it is the first month. It's only 1 month. We still have a lot more baseball to be played. There's plenty of teams I can think off the top of my head that were probably worse than this record and ended up making the World Series, like the Phillies. Man, at this point, they fired their manager Joe Girardi in 2022 after I don't know, like 40 games or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it happens. It happens. It stinks, but I think you know what? There's gonna be if this team gets worse a little bit because this team's supposed to be better. It has to be better. I think that they'll end up firing John Schneider.
Yeah,
I say,
if it gets worse,
you want to predict it by the All-Star break. If this team stays the same, he will be fired.
I would love that. I would love that very much.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Keith, bro. The same sort of thing is like he's a guy that's been brought up through the system, coached the minor league teams, and then they
Mm-hmm.
brought him up as like to the already fired coach, and now he's not similar to Keith, and they are both very very new to the league, and they don't have the experience, so
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
I think there's going to be some major changes in both the teams that we talk about on this podcast, and I hope so because that'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd be wonderful.
and those Phillies though, that series is gonna be. They're so good, man. They're so good right now.
Yeah,
20,
they're playing great.
they're absolutely insane. Trey Turner's hitting 336. Bryce Harper already has 6 home runs. JT Realmuto has 5. He's hitting 245 still. He's an insane catcher. Alec Boehm hitting 362. Kyle Schwarber has 8 bombs already. Brandon Marsh has 6 home runs. Crazy.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, they're playing great. They're playing great. I didn't even notice like the Mariners aren't even playing well. Like you said that they have a lower batting average than we do, but they're
Oh,
still
their pitching
leading
staff.
their division.
Oh my God. Their pitching staff is also ridiculous as well. Like
That's why they're
a
succeeding so well.
1.91 ERA. Ranger Suarez 1.32. Aaron Nola 3.20. 1.67 for Spencer Turnbull, and then 3.68 for Christopher Sanchez. My God.
Yeah, but we have Barrios, who's better than all of them. So
It's insane. So
yeah,
we'll see, man. It's a lot. Anything else you want to talk about the Jays? The series was terrible. They scored 6 runs. They scored 6 runs
in the first game,
still, but after that, it doesn't matter because they scored 1 run between, or was it one or 2 runs? I forget how many runs they scored in game 2. It's all a blur. Like it's all so.
yeah,
It's just a blur. But
yeah,
anyway, I think that sums it up. Let's hope they can win a series. Let's hopefully they can be. We can talk about some positive Blue Jays discussions, but they have been not good, and they need to be better. And that's that, man. That's that. I think we
yeah.
got to have some. We got to have somebody to talk about these Jays. There's been some good complainers on Twitter, and people that love to talk about the Jays on Twitter that I think we should get on this podcast because
Hmm.
another voice about it, so I don't feel like I'm the only one going insane, and you too.
Yeah,
So, um, sounds
that'd
good.
be great.
Let's end it off here. Thank you guys for listening. Next pod be out on Monday. Hopefully, when you're listening to this, which will be Friday, Leafs have won, and we will be talking about Game 7 or we'll be talking about the Leafs championship on Monday night. But yeah, go Leafs, go Jays, go, and cheers. Thank you guys so much.